good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good looking people. Remember, you're good looking, so always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Ion Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy, the ambassador of joy. And you tuned in because you know that in this show we talk about this amazing place which exudes excitement and energy and embodies everything glamorous and beautiful. And you're going to lean in and you're going to just be touched today by an amazing, wonderful fellow. His name is Zen. So get ready for that. So let me just say something before we bring on Zen. If I am privileged to speak to people all over the world, millions of people every month. And whenever I mention two words, people lean in, open up their eyes and their ears, they tell me more. And these two words are Las Vegas. I in Las Vegas, of course. And I wanted to tell you something. If you take the entire population of New York City and everybody around it, the entire population of Chicago and everybody around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everybody around it, add them all together, it doesn't equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a given year. Almost 41 million people come here. You know why? Not because of gambling and sex, because it exudes exuberance. And you're going to meet one of the most exuberant, interesting, fabulous people that I had the pleasure interacting with right now. His name is Zen Benefiel or Benefiel. Hello, wonderful Zen. Please say hello to 511,923 people around the world.
Well, hello, beautiful people. And Barry, how could anybody not have a good time with you as aware and creative and brilliant and joyful as you are?
And triumphant, oh come ye. So I have Zen on, and
we'll try not to break into too many songs, right?
Okay, well, that song is the essence of the human. It's how we really communicate to each other. We think we use words, and we do. Most of the time, the words have a rhythm, a melody to it.
It's like music. We just hear it differently. It still affects us the same.
It is beautiful. So one of the reasons I asked Zen to be on is because if you're watching, you're seeing this beatific, beneficent being. And if you're only listening, you can hear in his voice. Everything about him has to do with what we call be the dream, because that's part of his worldview, and also being a planetary citizen. So let's just talk about something that I'd like you to speak immediately about because it touches both be the dream and planetary citizen. Let's talk about happiness and joy.
Oh, that's one of my favorite subjects. Barry, what would you like? How, it's such truly, we can be the dream. I registered that business name in 1988 when I was working in an aerospace company in charge of $7 million a month in shipments. Right. And where I had to learn how to get along with people, places, and things well in order to do my job. And wow, it was just treating people how I'd like to be treated. That brings joy and it brings happiness to others because nobody does it, unfortunately, or few do.
Let's be clear. It's not that nobody does it. It's that fewer people seem to do it than we think. We in the world of joy, happiness, peace, and love, we think everybody does it that way. And when we
find these weird looks out in public because we are,
right?
That's a great read on the crowd, right? And then there's those few who step up and step in. And I've got this marbleized tuxedo I wear to business mixers, right? Just to see, it's a filter, right? I love it. I've had it since the mid 90s. I just had to. I was one of the coordinators for the Tempe Arts Fairs here, one of the largest in the country. And these things showed up several years in a row. And I was like, I got to have one of those. And I eventually donned it. And wow, it provides such an interesting experience with especially business people, right? Because some will pull back, some will lean in, and some will just go, oh, this guy must be nuts, right?
Wait a minute. I want to pause for a moment because this is wonderful. First of all, don't take notes. Don't write anything down. Just experience Zen. Everything is in the show notes. And the reason we do this is it's recorded. You can go back and listen and pause and all kinds of stuff. So the ability to wear something that in a, well, I'll call a positive way, attracts attention. Once you get people's attention, whether, like you said, they lean in or they pull back or they're just curious, you've gained attention. You've broken through some sort of barrier that exists between human beings just by articles of clothing.
Yeah,
And
well, my dad told me when we were younger, when I was younger, my adoptive father, he says, one of the best things you could do is learn how to stand out in a crowd without saying a word. Appearance, right? That 5 to 7 seconds that we get.
So this is really wonderful. The ability to stand out in a crowd without saying a word. In other words, you're not breathing fire, you're not screaming, you're not using any kind of weapon to disrupt things. You're standing out because of your appearance. Now, by the way, that appearance.
Oh, that's part of it. It's presence.
Presence. I like that even more. And by the way, presence works both ways. You can spell it with a CE, presence, being in a place. And by your presence, you are offering presence with a TS for other people.
Well, I love to spin how Og Mandino put it, right? The precious presence.
Right. Very, very good. I love it. Well, all those things generate and help produce and enhance joy and happiness. So let's talk more about the essence of what you as Zen, that is your given name or your adopted name, doesn't matter, and how that relates to what it is that you do with Be the Dream. Is Be the Dream a community? Is it a place where you want people to come and congregate and share their dreams?
Partially, yes. It's my professional coaching site. Planetary Citizens, which we'll get into in a minute, is more building that community. How it began, I was orphaned as a kid, adopted, told I was adopted at 4.5 when my sister was brought home. And then I was left with this residing question of, if I have a father and mother in heaven, can I talk to them? As a 4-year-old, I was naive and curious and figuring, oh, everybody says I can. Well, why not? Let's find out. And so I found out I could. And so this inner voice has been with me my entire life. I had a spiritual awakening at 18 that gave me direction and helping to facilitate a harmony among people and planet in my lifetime, and that it would happen. And then that led into all kinds of different areas, professions, to learn how to work with people and facilitate effectively, which led into my coaching eventually after I felt like I had enough life experience to do so. And then that led into, I had a podcast in the early 90s called One World that I queried people. I'd just gone through a messy divorce and left the corporate world and was even expelled from the church, or tried to be anyway. And I felt like, okay, I want to ask some questions. I want to ask others what their experience is. So I had the opportunity, and my given name's Bruce, actually. So I used my Bruce Benefiel as my title, but then I had Zendor underneath it, which was a name that I was given when I asked the question, who am I? Through a friend of mine. And I asked that question internally. I didn't say a word. And the guy sitting next to me, a dear friend, opened his mouth up, first words out of it, you are Zendor. So what do you do with that? Right? I'm like, okay, well, let's play around with it, see what happens. I stuck it on the shelf for a couple of years, brought it out for the show, used it as my subheading. And about 6 shows in, the guy steps out from behind the camera and calls me Zen. And that was in 1990, and it just cascaded. So tough one to live up to, yet how, what better name to have, including Benefiel, which means good fidelity. Those combined has really given me the opportunity to see myself, self-examine a lot, and make sure that I was living up to that.
So I want to unpack a few things here. We have a worldwide audience, people all over, from the Bhutan, from the Congo, all over Latin America and the United States. I'm just everywhere. And people, I'm sure, are scratching their heads. So let me understand.
Out, right?
You have literally created yourself, because the name that you have today, Zen, is
Mhm.
a name that came to you. It was not your name, let's say, at birth, and we don't even know what your name at birth is.
Well,
Maybe
you know what? I met my birth mother at 61, and she told me she would have named me Bruce too.
Bruce. Okay. Now, Bruce is an interesting name, by the way, because Bruce in Scottish means king.
Well, it also means dweller of the thicket.
Okay, very good. So, but
I love to get in the thicket of things, as you can tell.
okay, in the thick of it. But and the other point is, Benefiel, was that your adoptive parents' last
Yeah.
name? So this, it also fits you very well. In other words, the vibrations of Zen and fidelity and beneficence and being a benefit is the very essence of who you are.
Well, yeah.
And so you've been able to, so wait a minute, so when you met your birth mother at age 61, it wasn't that they were in heaven and you were speaking to them all that time. They were alive and well on the earth.
Now, I had met my birth father in 1989 at a conference here in Phoenix, unaware, and yet I liked the guy. And I didn't find out it was actually him until she told me what his name was.
You didn't know that all of your birth parents were alive when you were growing up?
No, no, I knew nothing. I wrote all the adoptee agencies trying to find out. Geraldo's, one of his secretaries, production people, wrote back, said, here's a list of organizations you can contact. I did that. Nothing, nowhere. Birth records were destroyed in a flood. So, I had all these things, and I wanted to acquiesce to who I am and figure that out. And ultimately, we're assimilationists that with a lot of tangentialism, right? And so being able to acquiesce to that, when you start asking questions, when you're curious about who you are, and this whole concept of I am comes into play, right?
But
And
when you mentioned, anytime you mention I am, we need to say thank you to Dr. Wayne Dyer. And anybody who doesn't know Dr. Wayne Dyer, you got to look him up, Dyer. And he was one of the great expositors of the I am process.
Yep.
And I am is a biblical phrase,
Right.
that God tells Moses to tell the Hebrews in bondage, tell them that I am sent you. That's a name of God. So here they have this young man who is looking to find out I am, and recognizing I'm saying these words, you don't have to agree. I am God. I just don't know what that means.
Precisely. And anything you use after you speak or think I am determines that.
I am good, or I'm the opposite, or I am this, etc.
So here's the cool thing, maybe not so cool. We have 70,000 thoughts a day, according to neuroscientists, right? How many of those are self-deprecating?
Only one.
Which occupies probably 80% of that,
Right. So
right? In some way.
You're bringing up such an important point right now. Now, we have sponsors that love the show, and we wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. And look at them. We'll be right back with this amazing being named Zen Benefiel, right up this brief message. Don't go away. He's too wonderful and adorable.
Any business leader who has stood in front of potential investors can tell you, creating a vivid, compelling vision of the future can be the difference between bankruptcy and billions. If you can move people with words, you can practically will things into existence. Something that seems impossible can be made to seem inevitable. But not with bullet points, with a well-crafted and well-told story. I spent 30 years in advertising, creating stories for giant brands, universities, and governments, and changing people's hearts and minds. And over those years, I accumulated a treasure chest of insights about how to entertain and inspire and move people. And I think I can teach you. Can you think of a tool more powerful than human speech? See how your value changes when you start to master the oldest human art form.
Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, because always looking for and finding the good, our cup runneth over with good. His name is Zen Benefiel, and he is truly that. He lives in love. Love stands for living on vibrant energy. He is a vibrating, energetic machine called goodness. Now, we're to be discussing wonderful Zen. By the way, I came up with an acronym for your name during the break. Can I share it with you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, Zen, Z-E-N, stands for zest, enhances, nurturing.
Wow, I love that. I really
Yes,
do.
I
And
do.
that message with meaning prior to coming back on, perfect.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's talk about planetary citizenry.
Oh, joy.
Yes, because it's not just you. It's so real, and especially in our world right now. I don't usually put a date on our podcasts, and I tell you two reasons why. Number one, because they're going to live for eternity. Now with everything that's stored in the cloud or clouds or wherever it's going to be. So people could be watching this 10, 20, 50, 100 years from now
I
or
think it's
more
still evergreen in the biz, right?
and say, well, look at what people were discussing. And we are at the moment in time, for want of a better term, at the cusp or the edge of the AI revolution, evolution, whatever we want to call it. So it's really especially important to talk about being a planetary citizen, because AI is taking whatever we think we have in the fact that this show has no space and time. It's all around the world right now, available to everybody. And it will be on a higher level. And really, with AI, we need to bring in HI. AI may stand for artificial intelligence. In our world, it
I
stands
see it
for
more as aggregated because it's a collection of what we've put out.
very good. That's why we need HI, human intelligence.
Yep.
We need them to merge. And I think that's what you do so well, Zen, is this idea, not just idea, this reality of planetary citizenry. So explain to us more. This is real PC, kid.
Absolutely. So, I believe that we're not separate from Earth. We're expressions of it, right? From our very cells, right? Everything that's in our bodies are completely made from the Earth. We don't consider that. So our evolution is not merely technological, it's spiritual, emotional, and relational. Now, how does that come about? Well, you combine, you synergize, right? You find some connective tissue and you develop it. Well, that connective tissue for me came through some friends and my own, mission that I've been on. And a friend of mine said, that we were talking about chat. He said, you can build one of your own. I'm like, really? He said, yeah, here's how you do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I built one. And what I did was I included ancient resources, the Veda, Bhagavad Gita, Egyptian Book of the Dead, Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Urantia book, not so ancient, but definitely fits in, Quran, Bible, Torah, all of those kinds of things, that this ancient stuff that we've been told about that contains everything we need to know. We just don't access it often enough. So I built one of those along with a few of my books, which I've got 40 so far, and it's got, 4 or 5 of my larger ones. So it will respond in my words to me. So it's like talking to myself. And so
Wait a minute. That was really good. You built, with the tools currently available, your own chat process.
Right.
Chat GPT something.
I call it Citizen.
Citizen?
Yes.
Citizen. I love it. Citizen. And it's a chat bot, just like any other AI chat bot. And what you've done is to combine, and I'm going to say this, not just knowledge, the most important ingredient, wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
See, knowledge is based on information. Information is readily available. It's almost too much information overload, I'll call it.
Well, it's this discernment and appropriate use of it that's truly the wisdom that's
That's the key. How you utilize and leverage knowledge so that it becomes the T word, transformational.
right.
That's really what we're all wanting to do, is to transform this earthly existence into a planetary existence.
Right. We're doing good.
Every day for goodness. Great. Okay. Keep going.
Absolutely. So initially I used that to build out planetary citizens. Now, Donald Keyes back in the 70s began planetary citizens with the idea of globalization and borderlessness. And he had guys like Norman Cousins along with him. He was the speechwriter for U Thant at the time, who was executive director for the UN. Now, through a wonderful relationship I have with Jeffrey Mishlove, who happened to acquire the unpublished memoirs of Donald's. He shared those with me recently, and wow, it's so similar to my own life, just a different situation, different time. So how I constructed Planetary Citizens was using what I felt really resonated to me or with me, and that was spiral dynamics to begin with. So spiral dynamics has multiple layers of how civilizations develop from war to unity, right? And everything in between. And so then also Kardashev created a scale of types of civilizations. 1, 2, and 3 basically is how far he went. 1 uses the energy of their planet for sustenance. 2 uses the energy of the solar system, and 3 uses galactic energy. Well, think about the consciousness that has to coincide with that. That's part of what Planetary Citizens examples is that we've got to learn how to create a holistic model, which Barbara Marx Hubbard developed with the co-creation wheel. And so we
developed this?
Barbara Marx Hubbard. And Barbara Marx Hubbard. And so she took the Beck-Graves spiral dynamics model and then extracted the co-creation.
If I'm not mistaken, she just passed away in the past couple of years.
Yes. And I had the good fortune of actually having lunch with her about a decade ago.
No, wait a minute. First of all, yeah. Okay, I want to have you
at a UFO conference.
At a where?
At a UFO conference. And she would never, she told me this is someplace I would never go. One of her friends invited her to just check it out. So,
she apparently was one of the more evolved beings on the planet.
Oh, yeah. Well, she presents the Homus Universalis, right? Or something like that, which is this planetary citizen, right? Where the planetary citizen recognizes that there is ultimately one core desire that we have with each other. That's to love and be loved. Well, how does that display? How do we find what that truly is? And how do we recognize that in each other and then build upon that? So with the co-creation wheel, those are 12 sectors of society that are basically silos with each other. And so by exploding it, by beginning to have conversations, not only with my own podcast now with thought leaders called One World, the New World, but the phase 2 of our strategic development is to have conversations on panels with people from each of those different sectors to talk about how they're being bridged.
Okay, so again, everything you want to know about Zen and what he's doing is in the show notes. Just go there and it's all there. I also want to give you a gift for you and Luba. And part of what we're discussing here about the idea of planetary citizen is that there are no geographic boundaries for hearts and souls and bodies.
Right. Well, and we're learning that from quantum physics now, right? There are no boundaries, period.
Right, there have never been, by the way, but just now discovered. So you were born in the United States of America, physically, geographically.
Right.
Your wife was born in the USSR, or what
St. Petersburg, then Leningrad.
Right, and then what was then the USSR was a very different society, even
Oh my gosh.
today is sort of open compared to what it was then. And then, however, you both met in the United States, and you were both open enough, having gone through their own personal development, to now join together in unity and harmony for each other. And I have an acronym for her name, LUBA, L-U-B-A. And it applies to what we've been talking about. And it's may I share it with you?
Sure.
Love understands Benefiel, it's you, always.
And how true that is from the instant we met.
That's who Luba is. She understood you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there's this whole notion that many have, that there's a twin flame out there, that there's a divine partnership that's available. And it's true. However, you've got to do your own work to prepare for it to happen. Right. And evidently we had, because we'd both been through our own trials and tribulations, and yet meeting at her Kundalini yoga teacher training graduation, that's one of the highest vibe places that two people could possibly meet.
Okay, I want to make
level.
I need to share with people something that most people on the planet, and certainly our listeners, everybody knows the term yoga. What people don't often know is that yoga is a word that means yoke, means service. However, there are 5 distinct aspects of yoga. The one that people readily think about is what's called hatha yoga, which has to do with movements and postures and stuff like that.
Right.
Highest level of yoga practice is in something called the Kundalini, which talks about the energy of the spine.
Yes.
And the people that are in the Kundalini yoga expression are very interesting people.
Yeah. Most of them 6.
Wait a minute. Sick in the sense that they want to be healed.
No, SIKH.
Right.
But
right.
yes. And yes.
Yes.
That's very true.
Right.
We all want to be healed, right? But we all have traumas that we want to alleviate in some way, not realizing all we have to do is just let them go and be in the moment and figure out what we want to do in the next moment.
Oh, this is so wonderful and beautiful. I must tell you something.
You make it available, Barry.
I'm just so delighted that you're here and we're doing this. I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say. However, they must be said. This is how we work in the world. We're coming to a close in our time together in this session. I have 3 quick questions for you, wonderful Zen. Are you ready, sir?
Sure. Hopefully I can answer. I tend to be a storyteller, so hopefully I can truncate it.
Well, number 1, very quick answer. Will you come back again?
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a good story. Number 2, now you only have 80 seconds to answer this. Zen, what is your most fervent desire?
To love and be loved.
Say it again and say it loud.
To love and be loved.
Wow. And as he said, he's a storyteller. There's no greater story than that. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 521,903 people around the world?
Oh, absolutely. You could even kiss me too.
Well, we'll go to that later.
All right.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And you have been listening to
I'm always doing group hugs in virtual meetings.
That's what we just did.
Yeah.
We just hugged
It's
hundreds
so
of thousands of people.
think of the magnification of that energy.
Yes, I do.
There together with the intent to share.
And share stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy.
Led right into that one, didn't I?
Thank you. Yes. Well, then that's why we urge everybody, share this with 5 people. You want to share it with 50 or 100, that's great. but at least 5. So that way we're touching 2.5 million people in the world, and share the energy of the hug. Remember, so everything is in the show notes. Go and look it up again and listen the second time. That's why we have this. You record it and take notes, and you control the time. Then you really want to do something beneficial for you, internalize, utilize, and leverage. Listen the third time, and you'll be the master, and everything is there for you. So remember, this show is not about Zen, great guy that he is. It's not about Barry, fabulous fellow. This show is about you. Y-O-U. You becoming the best you possible. Because when you are the best you, you make the world a better place, build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. So a prayer from Zen and Barry. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Zen, don't go away.